Hello and welcome to the Free Financial Forecast. Today is Thursday, May 5th. I'm Robert Charles, and in this video you'll discover all you need to know in order to trade and forecast natural gas. We're taking a look once again at the natural gas market due to popular requests, basically because of the fact it keeps going up. I mean, this is a very strong move, and so people seem to be very interested in it. So I've had multiple requests here to update where we started here with natural gas. Now, by way of history, we started getting buy signals in this towards the end of March on the weekly chart, and I will go over each chart momentarily because, of course, you want to know where we are right now. So take a look at the weekly chart first. I should point out for those new to us, this is our long-term weekly chart, our medium-term daily chart, and our short-term 60-minute chart. This is how we analyze all the major markets in our financial forecast every day. And if you are interested in seeing that and the calls we make, please head on over to ichimokucloudtrends.com and you can check out what we're offering there. Now, this weekly chart, you can see that we started having buys back on the 28th. It's because of the fact we were coming off a retracement, and this is where the buys started kicking in. These are the targets we've had up there for quite some time. You can see the market first bounced off of the black 1.618. Now, there is a little bit of a wick extended above it. I don't read much into that. I'm mostly concerned where the bodies of the candles are. But it did go up and touch it and then backed off, I guess, for the rest of the week. And then we started heading up again. This week, you could see, this is the week, my second week, we've already gone up and hit the top of the resistance zone and have stopped right on the dime. Not surprising. The active waves to come up with these targets were the 2, 3, and the 4 wave. The 0 wave, this uptrend really started back here in June of 2020 on the weekly chart. So 0, 1, 2, there's a 3 wave and a 4. Right now we are in the process of a very, very big overextended 5 wave. This is one of those markets that just keeps on going, and they have a tendency to defy all expectations. What would you expect to happen here next? Flat to down. Now, I was asked whether or not I would sell here when we hit the point, this black line, this black 1.618. And the reason why I suggested not selling is in part because I thought there was more upside, which there was. But also, markets rarely V-top. Usually, if they are going to stop going up, they'll go flat. Maybe a little bit down, but flat to down with the retracement first. And most of the time, when these markets go flat, they will go back in its trend. We're going to see a little of that on the daily chart in just a second. But you can see here, it hardly stopped at all. It took out the pivot here, it noticed it for 1 week, and then blew through it. Now, when the market came back down, where did it stop? Well, the old support, what was resistance, acted as support. These 2 weeks, right around that support zone, it just missed. Our blue conversion line popped up again. So the weekly chart, most of the time, I would say, is going to go flat to down. However, given how strong this market is, that may not last very long, and the extended target is above us at 10,753. So that's the next target to the upside on the weekly chart. Of course, we have closer targets, which we will now see on the smaller time frames. So this is the daily chart, or medium-term daily chart. We started having buys again beginning of March. Really, the market really started taking off towards the end of March when the weekly kicked in, especially when we took out the top of this 3 wave. So our wave count right now is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the retracement waves. And look at the size of that 5. So this market really took off. This is not enough for it to be a retracement. It's close. It's not a down wave for us, by the way. We count waves. And we have blown out. Now, since we last talked, we got a retracement down. Some people thought, well, maybe this will be a V-top, the rare V-top. Well, it wasn't. Usually, markets will go flat. You could see it started to do that right here. This area started to form a congestion zone. You could see it started to form a triangle. Usually, these congestion zones are significantly longer than this. They'll go at least another 5 to 10 bars, if not longer, sideways and form a triangle or some sort of a rectangular pattern in here. This was starting to form a triangle. But this market is so strong that it hardly congested at all. It did for a time, and then pop, here it went. Now you notice it has blown right through the extended targets on the daily chart. And notice it for 1 day, tried to back off a little bit, and they instantly today bought it again. And you can see where we're trading right now on tomorrow's bar. Where are the targets here? It's this area above us. I think that the higher zone is the more likely for this price to go to if it keeps going up. Now, bear in mind, we are already quite overbought. So it wouldn't be a shock to see the market go flat to down and form a congestion zone proper, like it attempted to, after it blew through the top of our resistance zone, right? Went through it, came in and found support, basically in that area where the resistance was and hit the baseline. So there was a lot of support here, and it started going flat, and then the buyer stepped in. So in a market like this, it just keeps going. There are your targets. This is the type of trend market defies all expectations. You want to grab on it with two hands and just hold on for the ride. If you bought down here, you should, and you held on through this. This would be the one area you might have gotten stopped on a trailer, but we did have another buy signal on May 2nd to re-enter this trade when this market started popping up off the retracement. There was the buy signal right there, top of that high. So if you were following along with us, you had an opportunity to take that trade. Now, taking a look at the 60-minute chart. Here's our short-term 60-minute chart. The zero wave is way back here. I'm not going to go through every wave count. The active wave right now is the 8, 9, and the 10. So this is the last retracement prior to the current retracement. There's the push on the 9, 10 comes down. There's our latest retracement, and that's where these targets are coming from. We have an 11 wave in play. That's working right now. When it took out the 9, we started forming an 11 wave. So we have broken through the old high. If the market does come down again, watch for this top to act as support. If it doesn't, that'll be a very bearish sign, and perhaps this up move is over. But most likely, given how strong this market is, we're heading up to these targets. You'll notice our black line is at the beginning of the support zone, which means most likely it's going to stop around the beginning of it. The reason I put these black line on the chart, it is a very strong target in and of itself, but it also gives us some idea where inside this target zone we're likely to fall. And right now we have it at the beginning. That's just the way the market structure is set up. This 10 wave was a fairly strong retracement wave. And notice it had one close, or actually two closes underneath the baseline, which is a bit unusual, but that's what happened. So if you took a short-term buy in here, there's your target zone around that 9205 area. Go obviously just in front of that. So that's our closest resistance point. It doesn't mean that when you have a 60-minute resistance point that the daily and the weekly are going to stop on a dime there, but you probably will get a bit of a pause if the market does trade up into that area. So this market right now is still looking very strong. It is overbought on all but the 60-minute chart. You do have to be a little bit careful in terms of, will this market go flat on us? It could, but again, like the Japanese yen trade is doing, that we're covering in our financial forecasting service, that market, just like natural gas, it just goes up and up and up, and it defies all expectations. You got to keep drawing in new targets, and away it goes. And here's what's happening in natural gas. So anyway, we're very bullish on this market. If you're long, trail your stops and enjoy the ride. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.